Welcome back to Scinary Information Nexus, your podcast of CERN.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. It is Friday, February 27th, here in the great city of Waco, Texas. The weather is getting nice. It was nice out yesterday. As usual, I'm joined by my colleagues, Joseph Hamilton and Brazos Wortham.
Howdy.
And today we have a very special guest, Miss Ginnie Harwood from Bespoke Consulting, and we are going to talk about all things E-Rate because I know we've got questions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, welcome to us, and I hope that this podcast is very memorable for you. I know it when it goes
Hopefully
out,
not too memorable.
Well, when it goes out, we guarantee at least 12 views.
I mean,
Awesome.
do we really guarantee that?
No, we don't. Because based on last week, I'm not even sure like all this stuff is recording.
But yeah, I mean,
There's Donald has now put in a fail-safe for our recording mechanisms because of last
So
time.
I can talk about anything
You can talk about anything. We've
and
got
act
to
like I know it.
and act like
sure,
you know it.
It's the internet.
You can even talk bad about people, and we can cut it.
yep.
You know, yeah.
Great.
After a couple of beers, Joseph and I have been known to have to cut out entire segments.
we
There was
we had to cut like basically an entire episode. Because,
there was a jump cut in there where we were in different outfits. We replaced Mario completely.
So,
no, well, we didn't replace him. He got goned. Yeah,
hey, he's not here today.
yeah, I know.
So, but before we get into the episode with Ginnie and talk about E-Rate, I do need to talk to you guys about something very serious that we're seeing on the YouTube channel. I'm too loud.
Yeah. There have been comments that between you and Mario, they have to sit there and hold on to the volume control in their car and just go up and down like a.
Yep.
I understand the criticism. I get it. Y'all are around me 12 hours a day. I tend to be loud. I don't mean to be, but that's who I am. And I actually blame 80s hair band music.
Yeah, you can't hear.
I can't hear. I can't hear because I like when I was 18, I had the speakers like right here in the truck.
I will say,
Listening to Poison.
I just my
Great
job
time.
is only
Great
to
time to be
keep up
alive.
with his glasses. I don't have to keep up with a hearing aid yet. So,
Yet.
But it is coming. So
We'll do like my father's been doing with my grandfather for years now. He can't hear, and so he goes, "How's that inheritance?"
that is fantastic. But seriously, criticism taken. I understand. So I've turned my volume down. I've turned the mic volume down. I've turned the volume of my headphones up. So it sounds like I'm loud in my own headset. Unless this button doesn't do what I think it does.
which is very possible.
Yeah, at this point.
You don't sound any more loud than anybody else to me.
Good. That's good.
So-
That is
Third
fantastic.
party
Richard,
audited and
it's okay.
validated.
Thank you.
That's
You're
right.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Ginnie.
You're welcome.
See what supportiveness looks like?
No.
Okay. All right. So
No
I
support.
lived that 80s, by the way.
Oh,
So
did you?
Yes.
yeah, it was a fun time to be alive. It was before cell phones and GPS and all that. Because I mean, I didn't want anybody to know where I was at.
You know it's all classic music now, right?
Classic. What? Classic. What do you mean, like Beethoven and shit?
No. Anything over 20 years is considered classic on the radio.
Oh, my gosh.
So you're classic.
Classic
Richard.
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's now classic rock that you were blaring.
Hey, wait a second. Don't.
When
You
he
are
get-
no longer allowed to say that to me, or you will be learning the phrase that pays. Would you like fries with that? Yeah.
But I did that for 20 years before I got here.
Yeah. So does that also apply like when he gets like a walker or wheelchair that we have to put like the antique vehicle license plate on it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Antique is different process,
okay.
okay?
All right.
I do have
That's
a little
50
patina.
years.
a patina?
50
I
years?
have patina.
Okay.
I don't know. It's 50
You personally have a patina?
I have a patina. It could be Copenhagen, but it is a patina. Right? Okay. Enough with all of that. Ginnie, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Hopefully
you
you
for
don't
putting up.
regret agreeing to be on this
Yeah.
podcast already.
Yeah.
How much
Not
did you
at
pay
all.
us?
No, I had to pay her, man. Please come be on the podcast. We're fun, I swear.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about Ginnie. First I want to talk about what you're doing now and then how you got into what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about you and Bespoke Consulting.
Well, I have been, I'm a native Texan, Central Texas to be exact. Born in Houston, but raised in Central Texas. Since 2005, I have been in EdTech and the E-Rate space, working in E-Rate. So have really kind of grown up in E-Rate. A little fun tidbit. My mother was the state E-Rate coordinator.
Oh, wow.
Assigned
So
by
it runs in the
TEA.
family.
It runs in the family, and people joke like, "Who'd you piss off to get into E-Rate?" kind of thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm for sure I pissed off my mom.
Right.
So learned from her. Was selling fiber optic connectivity back in 2005. Loved it. Worked for what was Time Warner Cable, then business class, and just started spreading the word. You guys can pay 20%
Right.
of your bill, and upgrade your infrastructure. And
Right.
so it was so enlightening and rewarding. And so I did that for 5 years. And then I just loved E-Rate, that Region 12 in Waco, who had hired my mom, and she was the state E-Rate coordinator. They won the contract with TEA.
Cool.
2004 to 2012-ish, I want to say, is when she was the state E-Rate coordinator. So a substantial amount of time. Was doing training throughout the state. This was back when they used to go to all of the service centers. There's 20 of them in Texas.
Right.
And do, a full 2-day training of E-Rate with the manuals out and going page by page. This is how you file a 470 and this is how you file a 471. It was all paper. And so that was my mom. And so she wrote those manuals, for all of the tech coordinators and tech directors to utilize when they were filling out applications. So great work she was doing. And then Region 12 said, how do we hire you to start a consulting service? I said, well, I don't know if you can afford me,
Right.
but we can talk. And so it just worked out. It was really a great move. So that's when I started consulting and working with applicants on the applicant side versus the service provider side. Did that for 11 years, worked at Region 12 for 11 years, built an entire department there, loved it. There were 25 when I left, and we had 205, 210 applicants.
Yeah, they're one of the largest in the nation, I think, right? They're big.
They're top 5.
They're top 5. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
probably. I would have to look at the data, but I mean, they're probably top 5.
Right.
It is interesting, like running into a Region 12 like E-Rate thing, like, and you're not. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
What-
Illinois.
yeah, like what? You're not even close to Waco.
Yeah.
Were they at a conference
Yeah,
recently?
Well, they were at TCA, but
Yeah.
that's here in Texas, so
Yeah.
that's to be expected.
Yes.
But just running into schools like using them is
It is just so weird to run into the weather guy that's doing
Conley.
E-Rate.
Yeah. I hired him. He's great. He's a great guy. He really is. He misses his meteorology, so he does both.
Oh,
He's an
does
E-
he?
I mean, I think he does.
He
it
does
on
on
the
the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't feel so bad about when I ran into him. It's like, okay, yeah, E-Rate, whatever. Hey, listen, I need to know like what the weather's going to be next Friday,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm planning a trip, whatever. And he's like, oh,
Did you know Jeff Dunham used to work at KWTX?
who the hell's Jeff Dunham?
What?
He's the guy with the puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you not know that?
What? Who?
He actually came to Waco.
The ventriloquist
recently,
that does
right?
I think he was at like the Extraco thing.
Yeah.
Is he doing that jalapeno on a stick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Jose
Okay, that dude-
Jalapeno
Jose.
on a stick.
He's a, I don't know if he's a Baylor graduate, but he went to Baylor, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I did
mean,
not know that.
I don't. I'm not sure about that one. I just know he worked at KWTX.
I
for
just
a
call
little
him Jeff Dunham. JD is what I have him in my phone as.
bit. All right. Wait, You know him?
Of course.
Like know him?
Know him. No, yes.
But you didn't know that he did ventriloquism?
No, because it was in the bar. It was in the 80s. It was terrible. It was a terrible time.
Did
So
you go to school with him?
No, I didn't. go to
Okay.
school.
He is. Okay. I love it.
So these are unfalsifiable lies that I'm telling.
Okay, got it.
Because the 80s, no
For
one
the
kept
12
records.
years.
I will say, at least according to the internet, he was in fact a Baylor graduate. Yeah.
Nice.
Right. So
Yeah.
you guys probably did go to school together.
No, I doubt it. I think he's quite a bit older than I am. He's at least in his 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was quiet for a split second.
They were like, they were trying to do
minute.
the math.
Yeah,
in
I
their
was like,
heads.
wait a second.
Wait, hold on.
Nah.
No, so anyway, we digressed quite a bit. So
As we said it would.
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And
So
it's great.
yeah, so after Region 12, you did what?
So then I left Region 12 and went to E-Rate Central, which is a top 3, maybe top 2. I don't know in terms of number of clients or number of, amount of funding. It would vary. But
So in those jobs, what you were doing was helping schools like fill out the paperwork, figure out like that you would post the bids, I guess, because
Yes.
all that stuff has to go out to bids, and we're going to get into how all that works here in just a
Okay.
little bit. But that was your function there.
yes, I would describe it as we were their in-house E-Rate department,
I see.
Okay.
but we were just remote.
Right.
So, so we took care of all of it. Now, so that there's a lot of parts and pieces to that, but essentially keep everything on track and keep them in compliance and
Right.
know all the regulations and how
Right.
to do and best practices.
So-
I mean, a lot of
so
it falls on in that area.
As a vendor, the vendor would contact you instead of contacting the school. Depending.
It depends on the size of the district, the business office, and how they, their procedures. A lot of them do their own RFPs on their own website. So I would just be the mediator of the information,
Right.
just to make sure that it's E-Rate compliant and it says what it needs to say, and then they would validate it and put it up.
Right.
In some cases.
And from there, so we actually ran across each other when you were at Region 12. This was circa 2015. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2015, 2016. And like we're cybersecurity, so we never qualified for E-Rate.
I know.
Like we were, like, it was one of the things that I wanted
Weird.
to try to get into, but
And we can talk about the evolution of that.
yes, yeah.
Oh, I would very much like to do that.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about it later, but it started as like telecommunications, right? Like that was
Yes.
E-Rate's
Yep.
primary thing.
That's why it's still
You know,
governed by the
the-
FCC, right?
Right. It is run by the FCC, governed by the FCC. It's run by USAC. But, the core principle of it, the core goal has never changed. It's always been to, level the playing field for schools and libraries to have access to affordable connectivity, right? That's never changed. The services therein have changed and evolved. So, phone services used to be, the crux of that. T1s,
Right.
PRI, you name it. All of that stuff was E-Rate eligible early on. It is no longer E-Rate eligible.
When did
Oh.
E-Rate
Phone service, voice services.
when did E-Rate become a thing?
1996.
I see. Okay.
So in
That was year one.
So that's like 30 years ago, right?
1996.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So long time plan. So what made you decide to go from
I did want to ask
Were you
one.
born then, Brazos?
No.
I was.
Yeah. Yeah. I am the youngest person in this room.
Joe says I was like, yeah, that was a good year. I remember that year. You were like 4.
I was 5.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know how old you are. Okay.
You know, I will say though, even though I'm the youngest person in this room, I am not the youngest person in this company, and it is kind of weird to see some of the people that it's like, you were born in like 2009 or something. It's like, what? Like,
We got some young whippersnappers in here.
Oh, it's those damn Zoomers. We got those Zoomers.
but I did want to.
Crocs and onesies to
That
work.
being said, their meme culture is quite infective.
I have a 16-year-old. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Born in 2009.
Yep. Oh yeah. So
She
it
could
would
probably run circles around me in terms of using a phone.
Yeah.
So 2007, I think, is when.
Is our youngest?
Yeah, 2000. Because isn't
Wow.
he 18?
Yeah. that
He has
sounds
to be
right.
18.
Yeah.
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 Richard's like, let me go look at this paperwork again.
Yeah. Well, he's an intern, so.
Yeah. I don't know who they hire. I just, they say, we need this guy. I'm like, all right. So,
But
They're
I did
smart.
want to ask one thing because I thought it was kind of interesting. You said when you went to Region 12, because you were coming from a fairly large organization at the time, Time Warner, going into a thing that basically doesn't exist. So you had to build that from the ground up. I mean, building any department or anything is kind of a challenge. So
Yeah.
what did that process kind of look like, building it from scratch, coming in with no team members, no one to like guide you on how that process looks like?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. It was exactly that. I am a process geek. Okay. I am, very structured in how I work. I like plans. But I can be impulsive. Okay. But in terms of work, it is my wheelhouse. So I just jumped right in, and I was just a kid in a candy store. And so started building processes and procedures, and it's a pretty linear process, so it's kind of easy to do in terms of how you do what you do and when you do it.
Right.
So that wasn't hard. Training people's not hard. The hardest part is the gray area of interpretation of the program rules. And I think that's where a lot of applicants get stuck, right? Because we don't have any written guidance on that,
It's almost like intentionally vague.
So
It is intentionally vague.
Like
when
some
we get-
frameworks we're familiar with.
when we get
Yeah.
into the Cybersecurity Pilot
Yeah.
Program, remind me to talk about vagueness.
Yeah.
The RFPs are doozies.
Can you
Oh,
give
I'm
me
sure.
a dessert? Thank you.
And can you give me a breakfast?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a little out of order, but yeah.
Don't
Hey,
judge.
to each their own,
We've had a rough week, Brazos.
Sometimes I start with cake.
I mean, no judgment, no
Right.
judgment. But yeah, I
You're
know
safe in here. I mean, from what I can tell.
one of the things that we've had many discussions about is that like when Richard and Donald started the company, there wasn't really anybody to tell them how to do any of this. And then as we've grown, there's been processes, departments, all kinds of things that we've had to put together. And it's like sometimes, and I would say more often than not, it's kind of just, we think these are how this should be done. And then it's like, it's an evolution over time. So.
Yeah, talk about that on how you built that process at Region 12, and then I want to go in because I want to get into Bespoke Consulting and what you do there, because you started that company. And is it similar? Did you follow a similar thing as you did like at Region 12 or wherever you were at? To build those processes? Is that something that transfers to a privately owned business, or did you learn?
Yeah, did you see like something that was missing from like the rigidity of like an organization and being able to transfer that to like more of a privately held company that you owned?
So yeah, I mean, I took a lot of insights and knowledge gained over, 16 years of consulting, and decided, these are, I'm very much a people person, a relationship person. And I really, and to me, bespoke was the perfect word because it's customized. It's based on what your needs are. It's not a book. It's not, see, the FCC doesn't even expect that, right? These are the rules, you interpret them, and you do what you can do on a local level to follow them, right? And so that's kind of the way that I took it in stride, and tried to determine the best practices, the best framework that I could come up with, knowing that fluidity needed to be there and I could pivot, because I agree. I have, in all of my career, there have been, oops, I shouldn't have done that. I really needed to do this.
Yeah.
So we pivot and we work through it like that. I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's part of the process. I think that's healthy growth, right?
We call it after action and lessons learned.
Agreed. I mean, and then you party about it because you're like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. We figured it out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I think Bespoke does take a lot of principles from that whole process, procedural standpoint. I'm a compliance first kind of person, so I kind of start there and then I go out from there.
So you kind of have to be dealing with the federal government, because I know from my part, like I take the feds very seriously. And I've heard, like the PPP loans that came out during COVID and all that. I've heard about all the fraud and everything that happened. Like it would scare me to death to even try something like that because it took so long to build something up, and you don't want like a stupid greed thing to get in the way of that, right?
Well, I don't think a lot of those came through any kind of like consulting or like firm
they
organization. Oh, did they?
They did.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, so you had to. So the way that worked is you had to go through your bank and you had to provide records to your bank, and your bank would submit those records on their behalf.
The bank's got so many that they couldn't have possibly vetted them all.
So I had a very conservative bank. Alliance Bank is very conservative. Todd Moore, the president of that bank and the founder and president of that bank, is very much of my like compliance mindset. And he's like, we are not going to cheat the system. This is what it's for. This is, and so we wound up, we got one of those loans, but it was based on like payroll from 2 years prior. It was stupid. And so we like $5,000 out of that. And there were companies out there that were getting millions. And when I say companies, in quotes, getting millions, there was reports of like franchises getting millions or franchisees getting millions per franchise, and it's the same company that was getting it, but they kind of divvied it up. So there was a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse on that.
I agree, and it's one of those things to where the way it was set up was kind of leaning towards that to begin with. They knew there was going to be a flood of applicants to banks. They knew the banks didn't necessarily have a process set up for it. It was going to be brand new. They knew that everyone was dependent on it, and so that it had to happen within a short period of time. And there's very little oversight.
Well, the way it happened originally, until it turned ACH, direct payment, it was a check cut by the FCC to the applicant.
Yeah.
The applicant then sent it to the service provider.
Right. So,
and I do want I did want to change this, and I don't. Maybe this is a little bit quick.
Because I want to get back to E-Rate.
Well, I was going to take this due to like this is all about the PPP loans, but just in my very, very little like working with the Cybersecurity Pilot Program, I have seen instances where it's like this doesn't feel right, and I'll talk about one specific case, and I don't think it was outright fraud, but it's not the way that it was by
intent.
The legal like framework of the way the pilot program was supposed to work. I was like, they aren't supposed to be doing that. But then it's like you look around and it's like everybody does
and
this.
It becomes a competitive disadvantage
not to do it.
Not to do it.
And what I'm getting to is that it says that you're not supposed to talk to the organization about like your products that you're offering and the pricing. And we worked one where I saw the RFP come out and I was like, okay, well, we can offer all these services. And one of them was through a distributor. Like I had to go to a distributor and I mean, I was watching, like it came out and it was within maybe 30 minutes. And I reached out to my channel rep and said, hey, I want to bid on this thing. And they were like, oh no, you can't. It's already secured. And I was like,
how did that happen?
How did that happen within 30? Like, no,
those channel.
So let's talk about, because I think that's an interesting topic, because I think
we can have it.
Yeah.
we can have hours of conversation about that.
And my big thing was just like,
and I've got thoughts and I've got recommendations.
So just like with everything that the federal government tries to do to help those disadvantaged, including schools, right? And we know from experience that like rural, smaller schools just don't have money to go out and get the latest, firewall or ISP that they need to deliver instruction.
Right.
Right.
Well, they don't have a lot of options.
Exactly.
So there's no competitive bidding.
But that's what E-Rate is designed. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Brazos is taking off his jacket. We're about to get serious.
And didn't wear the pink shirt. And you're taking off your clothes.
I know.
I mean, what is today?
All the people at New Caney is going to be upset that I'm not wearing my pink shirt.
And all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I know.
So, but E-Rate is designed to help less fortunate schools get up to standard. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. So with that's kind of the mission of E-Rate in my head. But to Brazos' point, we actually worked with a school district in Texas, very small, very rural school district that had a $100,000 firewall installed, and we asked them about it. Like, no, E-Rate got that for us. I'm like, what? You're never going to use 3/4.
I'm surprised they got funded, but being as small as they are, they're not on the. They're not. There's no triggers for smaller ones.
No radar for that.
Yeah.
I think they were 100% funded through through the E-Rate program. So without naming names and getting have you seen gaming of the system in that way?
Absolutely.
I
see it all the time.
Can you talk about without mentioning specifics?
There's a lot to be said for relationships.
Yeah.
Okay. And the program rules state that, it has to be the most cost-effective provider.
Yes.
Well, cost-effectiveness is not just cost. It's not just price.
Yeah.
Tag.
And every RFP, the lines that this RFP will not be decided on the sole basis of cost. Like,
Yep.
every single one.
Which to be fair,
it does make sense.
Yeah, there's some sense to that. It does compute in the brain whenever you think about it reasonably, but in
technical
practice,
merit.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some good ones.
Yeah.
There are some obscure ones where you're like, really? But there's some good ones.
Have you ever seen USAC deny anything based on I don't know, they didn't
Cost effectiveness?
Yeah.
I have.
Okay.
I mean, in my 16 years, I've seen just about, I've seen a lot. Yes, I've seen people get denied funding for bandwidth beyond their means, which made me think of that firewall.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's waste.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some sales rep went in, and I've been in sales. I mean, so this isn't a knock on them, but somebody went in and made their quota with one sale, and it's selling.
Is it because of a relationship?
Potentially,
Yeah.
I would assume that it is.
And by relationship, I'm not talking nefarious like kickback relationship.
Right.
Just
No.
I've been dealing with this vendor forever, and this is what they're recommending.
Right. They know my network.
Yes.
They've seen my struggles.
Yeah.
They know what I need.
Hell,
right?
we go fishing together on the weekends. It's great.
That's possible. There's been that too. You've got Dallas ISD, you've got Houston ISD that have been in pickles for those things. So, I mean there's a big line between that. There's a lot of merit in, hey, they know me, they know my network, they're in here all the time. Anytime I call them, they're here. I see them weekly. I mean, there's a lot of value in that.
Does USAC look at any other data besides like the cost of the bids that come in? Do they look at like the size of school and how many students they got?
Not on a general basis.
Okay.
No. When they do a selective review, they'll ask for all the bidding docs.
I see.
But no.
How often does that happen?
I see them mostly with larger districts or any district that has had PIA findings or not findings, audit findings, but PIA issues. In the past.
What are PIAs?
Yeah, I was about to ask what
PIA. So this is fun. USAC outsources review procedures and review of all applications to a third party. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we're getting into some fun stuff.
Yeah. And just recently, January, they switched consultants.
Is there AT&T anywhere near this? I just got to know.
No, it's not a service provider.
Okay.
It is a
like an audit
Ernst
firm.
and Young is
it's
the
a
new
big
one.
four.
It's an audit firm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and there's no problems. There's no conflict of interest with somebody paying. Yeah. Okay.
it is, yeah. So thought I'd throw that out there. There's a third party that does all the procedures of review. And so they read, they go through their checklist, right? And okay, yeah, and no, and yes, oh yeah, if yes, go here. Oh, selective review. Okay. I mean, it's not as simple as that, but I mean, that is a large part of it.
Sounds a lot like the IRS.
Yeah.
You like the IRS?
No, it sounds a lot like the IRS.
And I agree
No.
with that.
How? No.
See, this is the problem. I need to turn myself up because I can't hear anything that's going on.
But the monitor setting is different than the input setting. You can turn yourself up all you want in your ear,
I blame the breakfast
old
stout.
man.
Hey,
That is just not nice. You're
I,
getting
I work with assholes.
mean.
I keep him young.
Age is just a number, Richard.
I look on Mars. I would be like 24.
Another question I have though.
I mean, I thought you
before we
were
get-
24. I thought cybersecurity did all that.
I'm giving you a raise.
But before we get too far along this,
Gaming the system.
Yeah.
but before we get far along this auditor road, which I do want to go further down, I do also wonder, just going back to the gaming the system part, have you noticed as time has gone on, because obviously these things have been set in place for a while now, have you noticed an increase in like the number of things that are happening that you're like, okay, someone just knows the process too well and they got this through? Like, has that modality increased over time, or have certain players in the in the sector like all of a sudden just like taken flight because they obviously know how to get their stuff across every single time?
I think a better question is: have you ever seen anything that from like service providers and you go, "Oh man, I know what they did, and that's terrible."
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, and I may not directly know, but I can infer that it happened.
Yeah.
I think the phenomenon of gaming the system has died down a little bit in terms of blatant, breaking rules.
Yeah.
Because there are so many consultants now, right? And so good consultants will really try to control it so that it doesn't happen.
Right.
Because consultants have skin in the game, right? I mean, if it gets out that there was fraud committed while you were the consultant, I mean, that's a very
Huge.
big
Reputational damage.
Yeah,
Huge issue.
reputational damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, and one of the things that I wanted to ask because of some of that like weird, like for example, the not on the basis of cost, and do you think a lot of that does come from maybe just the vagueness of a lot of those rules where like people either may interpret it different or because I know
Or they think they can defend it.
Yeah. Well, and I know when we very new to the whole E-rate thing, like we had several debates internally on like what something meant. Like we would read it and be like, well, no, we think this means this, and like we were trying to approach it from the most like reputable way possible, but it's like the final decision may have not been what the intent behind the wording was.
I can remember having a meeting when the Cybersecurity Pilot thing come out and saying, okay, here's how we're going to approach this, right? We're not going to bid on stuff that is clearly outside of our wheelhouse, right? we're also going to follow the rules. We're not going to call these people and ask them what they mean. Like we're going to take a very.
But you can ask questions.
Yeah.
We okay, and we did through the perception.
Right.
Oh my gosh, the question thing too.
But here's the thing.
I'm sorry, but that specific thing, there were several bids that I saw that said, like, the way that they worded it is if you had questions about the bid, you had to send it in a written letter, and then they would respond via written letter back to you. And it was like, your bid process is 3 weeks. Like I'm waiting on snail.
So it was almost impossible.
I get a sheet of questions.
Carrier pigeon. I mean, what?
Yeah, that was not very super common, but I did see it.
But
and
does USAC have any control over like how the RFPs are written? Like, are there any rules?
No, that's a local.
That's
a
local
local
thing.
governing decision. Okay.
So they could almost the institution that is applying for the funds could almost write an RFP so prescriptive that it's only one company in the world that can do this.
Perhaps, yes. And I've seen it.
And regardless of if it's a $500,000 contract versus somebody could do it for $50,000, that's aggrandizing a little bit. But have you seen anything like that?
Absolutely, Richard.
Yeah.
So, I was just thinking, I see a lot of that in the larger districts.
Do y'all hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
They're coming for you.
Okay. I was wondering.
Well, I meant him. Sorry, I looked at you for dramatic effect, but it was him that they're coming for.
They
I
always
didn't pay
are.
that parking ticket. No.
For Richard, it'd be worse than a parking ticket.
Hey, I got to go to court.
What
on March 16th?
What bars have you been to lately?
I was about to say, have you driven by that flock camera in West?
Please continue. I'm sorry.
I think you're going to find a lot of that in the larger districts because they have the money. They've got the finance aspect of it. They've got their their share of money to put in, and they're very particular about not disrupting their network environment.
Right.
And I get that.
Yes.
So, it's hard to break into those larger ones. I'm thinking Cy-Fair. I'm thinking Dallas. I've worked with those districts that are, they have I've seen them change vendors.
Yep.
Okay. But they're very particular. And they do it really well. It's very, very smart the way we do it. It's very strategic, let me say. It's the mid to smaller districts that I usually see. They really have more options. I mean, they want more options, and they are willing to swing to another vendor if it's less expensive and they feel they're getting more.
So
right?
Can they, and again, this is my ignorance here, but can they take, like, they've been working with a vendor and say it's plus minus 10% in either direction. Can they take that and say to their preferred vendor and say, look, you're over by 10, 20%. Can you bring that down?
You can absolutely do what's called a BAFO, a best and final offer. And it's a practice that I do not regularly, but in some cases.
We have the practice of FAFO around here.
Okay. Tell me what that means.
Yeah, go ahead and say that one out loud.
F around and find out.
My husband says that.
There you go.
He's going to watch this later too. So Steve, he's English and he's got some fun words. Yes.
He's from England?
Uh-huh.
Like what part?
Northern England, Newcastle area.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah.
I like their beer.
You do? He doesn't.
Huh.
He doesn't like Newcastle. But he'll drink Guinness. Right.
Oh, yeah. I love Guinness.
But he won't.
Oh, that's Irish.
He's drank
Lord.
Newcastle. I hate to say he doesn't like it. It's not his favorite.
Yeah.
So
I want to come back to the Newcastle angle a little later, but let's continue on topic here.
And I did want to mention, because I think those bigger schools, I was one of the people with the new pilot program. Like I was.
By the way, my favorite show is Top Gear. Right on.
Oh yeah.
Internally, like I was doing a lot of the reviewing of the RFPs that were being
Richard
posted.
Die? Sorry.
No,
he did not die.
Okay.
No, plenty
It's right
good.
there.
No, Hammond.
Hammond. Oh,
Yeah.
did one of them?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're all
I don't know
alike.
why I was thinking he did. Never mind.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Clarkson's Farm.
No, you're
Yes.
plenty good. The
The pigs. Sorry.
Now they died.
Yes.
All the
Wait,
pigs
pigs died?
Some of them
Aw,
died.
sad.
Yes.
I was the one that did a lot of the review of the
Remember
RFPs
that
that were
bacon
being
we had?
posted from that on the pilot program website, and
Good.
I would look at the like all the ones that would get posted. There would be small schools, large schools, and I mean, there's even a topic that you could talk about on why did certain schools get into that program. But anyway, when I would look at the larger
How?
districts, but when some of those larger districts would post their RFPs, what I would see is that I would scroll through the RFP reading it, and I was like, I'm not going to apply for this. Like the amount of work that I would need to do to
Sure.
put in
Fair.
for this is just, it's ungodly.
Right.
Like, and the smaller schools, for the most part, now some of them did follow the same like MO, like they would just throw so much at the wall to like make it whereas like no one is going to bid on this except the one person that like knows they're going to win it. But I
And
think
has probably already done some of the work.
yeah,
Right.
They probably saw the RFP before it got posted. But the thing
Or
with
they wrote the RFP.
No, I don't think a lot of that happens anymore, to be honest. But
yeah, but the
they may have had access to a bill of materials.
and one of the things that I see that is similar to in other industries that aren't even just like RFP type things, but like regulation where you put so much in front of it that people that may be able to offer something at a lower cost or you have that competition come in just cannot even play in the arena because you're putting so many barriers. Like for example, I knew like several of them were talking about you need X amount of experience, this number of employees, like you need to be able to produce like 10 years of financial records and you need to be like a certain type of company. And it's like, you can't like no one, like there's only a handful of companies that can even apply
And
for
that's
this.
them weeding out.
Yeah.
That is exactly what that is.
We saw when the cybersecurity pilot, and this may be a good segue into that, but when the cybersecurity pilot came out, we saw a lot of those RFPs, and we knew exactly who they were written for, and they weren't written for anybody but one provider or one company. Did we see that like they had to do business in the state of New York?
Yeah, there was a lot of those.
Yeah,
where
like you had to be within this metropolitan area.
Was it a New York school?
Yeah.
Okay.
most of the time, like typically they would say like within the town that the location or like the place was.
Which, I mean, I can kind of understand some onus behind that as far as like trying to support local businesses, but that doesn't quite fit the intent of the program at that point.
That's why
I guess
the intent of the program is so important because it's meant to help schools, right? And yes, a part of it is who you've got a pre-existing relationship with, and who knows your network and who you trust.
Right.
That's huge.
That's
right?
a large part of it right there.
that is
I would say
very
80%.
That is very huge. But when you're talking about schools that have never had this particular service, whatever a service X, whatever that service is, and they put it out for bid, obviously they may be inclined, or there's an incentive to write the RFP to that provider.
So I'll be honest, a large part of our cynicism with this, just in general, is the fact that we have seen so many companies, new companies that have come up, maybe local, maybe more broad, regional, or even some international, that the byline and the selling point is this very good intent. But whenever we've looked behind the curtains and whenever we've gotten to actually interface with those companies, we've seen a lot of cutting corners. We've seen a lot of overpriced solutions for what the client is actually getting. And what concerns me always with that is the fact that a lot of these smaller schools don't know.
And I will say too
they
that
get a local person coming in telling them, hey, the E-Rate program can help you, and our solution's only 50, 60 grand. you should use us, not knowing that they're only employing solutions that cost them maybe 15, 20 grand, and they're getting a ton of money up front for something that they're not even doing.
Well, and I guess that is to the point on why, like, sometimes those relationships are actually beneficial because you get to work with those people that at least to some degree, are respectable. But I did want to mention or ask another question because I have seen this just on some of them, and these poor folks, they'll be like, if you have questions, and they'll give a direct email to someone. I have a feeling that is miserable to be on the other end of that RFP to get all of those questions. Because I've seen some of the questions because they'll be posted to like, what's that one? Bonfire or like Bonfire or
talk about that. How how does the consultant weed through all that? I guess if they post questions on there, does the consultant answer those questions, or does that just go
with
straight
help
to
from the technical contact? Yes. And it is a process. I mean, it can be hours and hours and hours of work, depending on the size of the RFP. So we did something really smart at Region 12. We built a portal, a bidding portal.
Yes.
And
we're familiar.
Okay, you've been in there.
Yes.
Okay, so it captures all the questions. That really makes it a lot easier than having to sleuth through your email and find everything. But so regardless of the process, yes, it takes a lot of time, and yes, we do that in tandem with the district, unless the answer's in the RFP, and 9 times out of 10 it is.
Yeah, well, that's what I
but you just have to kind of phrase it, differently.
Right. I loved reading those questions because you could tell there was like people that whoever was at the company that was putting in for the bid, like didn't actually understand what they were asking or what was in the RFP. Because I would read it and I'm like, why are you asking this? Like it's either in the RFP or is completely irrelevant to what you're going after. And I was like, I feel bad for the person that's on the receiving end of that question because like, what do you even say? Like
it is. Yeah, it's very hard to say it nicely, but I pause. I've learned to pause and then type.
Yeah.
So USAC runs the E-Rate program. Mm-hmm. It's overseen by the FCC.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
How is USAC funded? How's E-Rate funded?
E-Rate's funded by, I wonder if I know how USAC's funded. I'm not exactly sure if that's taxpayer dollars, but E-Rate's funded by taxpayers, by the USF, the Universal Service Fund.
Okay.
So and all of us that pay internet bills and cellular bills.
Telecoms.
Yes. Okay. Telecoms.
So
all of that feeds it.
That little tax that you have on your phone bill that you don't know what it's for.
Yeah. So it's only telecom. Like the tax. So despite the evolution of
you guys don't have to pay into it in terms of a business, your business.
Right. But if I have a phone at home,
right,
included
you're
in
a taxpayer contributor
in my Southwestern Bell AT&T bill. Whoever's running the damn phone system.
That's a big argument for telecoms going, well, wait a minute, all of you play in this game.
Right.
Why aren't you taxed?
So do ISPs pay into it?
If they're a telecom, if they're a telco, if they sell both, like AT&T.
So we would have to get into how do you define that, I guess, as far as if you have to contribute to the USAC fund. And then my question is, since FCC oversees it, what are they overseeing? Because
they just put rules in. They codify the rules, the laws, right? They put those in place, and they put out NPRMs if there's a notice of program rulemaking.
Okay.
And ask for all of the, all the stakeholders to reply, tell us your thoughts on these things. So Cybersecurity Pilot Program is essentially a way for them to, not just an NPRM, it's a way for them to gauge the data on how this program would play out long term.
Right.
So it's more than just, they're very interested in seeing how this program could be substantiated with data. And that's important for me to say to school districts is that data is important. If you can capture the data, how it's mitigating risks for you.
Right.
You're a cloud-based, most of them are cloud-based, networks now. So it opens that door to all the vulnerabilities. And so how has this changed for you that you've gotten funding for this? And I mean, there's only 690 in the program. So it's not a lot, but the data is going to be really critical for long-term success.
Yeah, we were telling people, like we had, when we'd go give discussions about when this whole pilot program was being announced, that's what we were telling people, because we'd run it. It was like, it's a pilot program, I'm not going to apply. And it's like, no, even if you don't think you're going to get in, apply because that shows that you the interest and the need for this program. And you would just get some people are like, nope, I'm not going to do it.
Especially as cybersecurity is evolving over time. I mean, this is becoming more and more relevant to school districts. Well, we see it all over the place.
The big complaint I've always had about E-Rate was, even back in 2015 when we started, was okay, you're funding firewalls and ISP and internet access, but I mean, the schools that you're supplying that to, if they don't have the funds to fund that, they damn sure don't have the funds to fund cyber. Right. Which in 2015 is not as big as it is now, but it was pretty big back. That's one of the reasons why we focused on cyber in K-12. It was becoming big, and I've always argued that if they had been really forward-looking, they would have included all of that stuff. But then you have to define what cybersecurity is.
Right.
That's true.
Well, because content filters, core switches, firewalls can all be defined as cybersecurity tools.
Here's the thing. The firewalls, the hardware is fine. It's the licensing that's not.
Yes.
So because the licensing
content filtering is not.
Has the UTM
But you got to
controls.
have it for SIPA to be compliant with SIPA to even qualify for E-Rate.
And
I agree. It's a juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Did you like that word?
Yes. Very much.
Don't say that, because we don't know what it means.
Oh, okay.
I do also know, and I may be ignorant here, and I may be getting some things wrong, but through working with people that have done E-Rate, and so the firewall piece, the hardware is E-Rateable. You can get that. You have to buy the licensing through local funds. But I've heard, and I may be butchering this acronym, I don't even know if it's an acronym, but supposedly like management through something called like MIBS is allowed. Like, and then, well, what defines management? Like if I'm managing UTM controls with universal threat management, like, is that not? Do I have to break that out and say, well, if you want me to manage UTM, you have to locally fund that? Like, how? Like,
yes,
that's weird.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
No, you're right. So, so the appliance itself is eligible. Any additional features, intrusion protection, UTM, whatever, is all cost allocated, basically. So you take the device with the software, and you say, well, it's 66% eligible. No joke. Or 56 or whatever they come up with.
So it's 66% eligible, but you're a 90-10 school.
Right. So you pay the 34% that's ineligible plus you get 15%. Yeah. Plus the 15% of the eligible cost. Yeah. It's a nightmare, but it is what it is.
That's why consultants.
And those appliances are expensive in most cases. So
yes,
they are getting something, but I think it's a slippery slope with this. Well, it was. I think now, what started the whole cybersecurity on the FCC's radar, probably before, but most certainly COVID-19. That prompted them to go, whoa. Okay, we've got to support, districts were petitioning. We've got to support these kids at the home. So my network is now, at these kids' houses.
So they funded like Wi-Fi hotspots, right?
They did.
Did the FCC cut that?
No, it went up. They were looking to do it, and then I believe that got denied due to the overwhelming, don't do that.
Yeah.
They did it in a program during COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, called the the connectivity program. So universal connectivity program. So that program happened. They funded end user devices. So those jetpacks that they were taking home, Chromebooks that they were taking home for
we've seen a huge adoption
for
of Chromebooks
homeschool purposes. So all of that was funded in. Why am I blanking? Anyway,
that's
program.
why we would always see vendors on LinkedIn with those pallets full of Chromebooks going.
Yeah. Oh, they banked. They banked because they covered 100%.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So
but this begs a question of you, Richard. So if we want cybersecurity truly folded into this, even with the cybersecurity pilot program, there's still the same question there is at the start, which is if you want cybersecurity and telecommunications to be rolled into these programs, are we willing to pay a tax or have the consumer pay a tax?
See, that's not even a fair question. That's not even a fair question.
But there is some onus on the cybersecurity sector for funding for this kind of program if we want to be included
right now,
in
no
this.
C2 vendors are paying in the tax.
Right. But that's my point is, should we even
So
advocate for something
that
like
fair?
that so that we could, right.
So he's a pinko commie liberal.
So I will say, because when you brought up the telecom thing, and because that was what jumped into my head, is that there are other types of products that are in that, and if it's only telecom, that's only one tax base that's being pulled. You could see the argument from the telcos that like, well, why are we paying it if no one else is? And it maybe just offloading it onto the consumer. But I do also think that they're like on that end, like maybe other companies probably should be paying that if they're, but in another way is I could see the argument from the telcos or even companies that would come into that is, well, I didn't benefit from E-Rate. Like, so maybe it should even be like by what companies are benefited, how much do you have to pay in? Because like I'm thinking about like the big incumbent cybersecurity vendors that probably made millions of dollars off this.
Yeah, so you're okay with cloud
Say it again.
CrowdStrike?
Did you say Clown Strike?
No, so I was seeing Cloudflare because of all the stuff we've been working recently, which there's nothing wrong with Cloudflare. It's a particular attacker that was using stuff with Cloudflare recently. And then
Next week's episode.
That got inflated with CrowdStrike in my head as I was speaking. But are you okay with CrowdStrike being able to come in and get all this business, all this money off of these kinds of things, but not having to pay into the very thing that's benefiting them?
I will tell you this, that as a business person,
It's a moral question.
yeah,
It is.
as a business person,
Give me
and as a
I didn't mess up that word enough.
and as a person that truly thinks that small government is best on that, and the reason why programs like E-Rate exist is because the community has not done enough to support the local communities, right? That's one of the things. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that some dude back in 1993, probably working for, a firewall vendor, probably Cisco, saying, hey, what would be good for Congress is they pass this law where federal money would pay for all this. We could sell a lot more firewalls, right? I'm not naive enough to think that did not happen. But my personal belief is that the community should step up and supply the funds for their local community to provide the connectivity that they need. But we also know that, there's a lot of people who just, why are you taxing me? I don't have kids to go to school and stuff like that.
A lot of states do. Let me just say, the state will file the applications. They'll secure the funding, BEAD grants, any kind of federal monies they can get, and they'll deploy infrastructure for the state.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
We will talk about
Mississippi, and there's
the
several.
State of Arkansas that Brazos and I have run into over this. And I know there are neighbors to the north, but man, do they have a scheme. That is a fantastic scheme
So,
that they've got running up there.
I will. Well, so there may be some E-rate stuff involved with that, but that's more on federal grant type situations and the way that the grants go to the state and then the state divvies up the grants. And
before this podcast evolves any further, is there a chance that the FCC is going to just kill the Cybersecurity Pilot Program before funding
The 3 years?
Yeah. Well, no, before the funding commitment decision letters go out.
I don't think so. No, they've committed the $200 million.
Okay.
Okay, and it's a 3-year program, so I don't think that they would. Now anything's possible with the current setting, but
right.
I don't think so. And then I know they've rolled out 2 funding waves, is all, unfortunately, but they did say they've indicated that funding waves will start back up in March, and they'll do a monthly funding wave. So hopefully people can look forward to that.
And one thing I did want to talk about, because you were talking about the whole local community thing, when we were talking about the 690 some odd school districts and libraries that got approved, I remember when I was looking at that list, because we knew some of the schools that applied. We had talked about the Cybersecurity Pilot Program a ton, and what I thought was so funny is like this is supposed to help small rural districts or underserved districts, and then it's like, why is Houston ISD on this list? Like that was always the thing. Yeah. Which I get, like it's a data collection tool, so having some of the larger schools makes sense. But the amount of large schools,
it's like 1.2 million,
and then it's like okay, it's so
and
much.
you know a school system like Houston ISD already has all the stuff that they're applying for, and they're not supposed to do that. Like our understanding of the rules was if you had it, you can't apply for it. This is new stuff that you need to employ, right? And you need funding for that. Is that right? Wrong?
I did not interpret it that way, but I could be wrong. Full disclosure, I did not file any applications in it. I was doing sales and working in a different arena when this program came out. But, I followed it and read up on it.
Right.
I don't know exactly what the rules are there. But I know with the ECF, gosh, I couldn't think of it earlier, the Emergency Connectivity Fund, which funded, the bridging the homework gap.
Yep.
Okay, which was great, and I did participate in that and got millions for schools of funding to get them an entire fleet of of Chromebooks to go home with those students who otherwise would not be able to do their homework. Right, and then Wi-Fi for those that didn't have internet at home. And so I've seen those things happen, and I've seen them evolve that way, but I don't. There were caveats, right, to that program. And I'm assuming there's similar caveats to this one. Well, we did have a fleet. Right. It's old. It's end of life. So we need to refresh, and we need, additional features, X, Y, and Z. Now, Houston ISD has 150,000 children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 130,000 maybe. I'd be, I'm not advocating that they needed it, but how expensive is that for them?
And it could be one of those things.
It could have been a barrier.
There's money out there. We need to go get it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're losing students.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it was, and again,
program, which,
I will say the big thing there,
homeschooling.
No particular issues with like school districts, larger school districts getting that money. I mean, again, it's a need. Regardless of school size, those people don't have enough money
to do everything they want. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing that got me was how many large districts that were in that list whenever we're talking about how many rural or smaller town school districts that weren't. And then it was like, okay, why do we have like some of the largest districts in California, New York, Texas, Florida, like in this list when you probably would have had the data by just a handful and then spreading out the love, if you will.
I'm with you on that.
On other ones.
I'm for the Yeah.
That was my thing on that.
Underdog.
Not
For sure.
necessarily.
So I think it may be less on the program or the FCC or USAC or anything else like that than it is on the very reality of the differences between how those two can apply. The larger school districts will have dedicated people who will say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and we'll get with the consultant. We're going to make sure this happens. And the small school district is like, hey, gym teacher, can you do this week? Oh, man, I don't know that I can do that. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
And so at the end of the day, your small school districts aren't going to have applied just because they don't have anyone with the bandwidth in order to apply.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I do know that we're coming on an hour and 5. I did have one last question, though.
Go ahead.
And that was, what about that, like the whole E-rate process or anything, do you consider like the hardest part about it?
The process?
Yeah.
Well,
or just E-rate
I
in
think
general. Like
As a vendor, I can tell you it's the
competitive
payment.
bidding. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Competitive bidding for the applicant is the hardest,
Yeah. Yeah.
bar none.
So
I mean, that's the stickiest. That's the most what's the word? Scrutinized, part aspect of it.
Right.
So it is really daunting for them. And I think that's why consultants have made a good business, because we've learned it really well.
Right.
And
So for any of our 12 listeners that want to get in touch with you to do E-rate,
Yes.
tell us how to do that.
thank you, Richard. They can go to my website, bespokeconsulting.net.
We'll have a link in the description.
Or they can email me or call me. All of my information's on my website.
Also, you can email or call Scinary. We will get you in touch with Ginny
Thank you.
That's if you're looking for a new E-rate consultant. I can tell you that we don't have people on the podcast, and we don't deal with people that are unscrupulous in nature or that are just looking to sell a product. We've known Ginny. I've known Ginny for years, and I can stand by her word that she will look out for any clients that come to her. So
the best evidence of that is she wouldn't deal business with Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
she would do business with me.
I absolutely would.
Okay.
In fact, we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah,
Ah, there you go.
We're gonna do yes. But anyhow, thank you everybody for joining. Next week we were going to talk about. Y'all remember how a couple weeks ago we were talking about raw dogging the internet? We're going to talk about how the internet raw dogs you back.
I'm still fresh. I'm still in the middle of it.
Are you still raw?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's bad. Well, I'll talk to you about it at lunch, but
we can talk about fun attack chains is what we can do,
Yes,
because we've had some interesting ones lately.
absolutely. Brazos, are we going to be anywhere in the next couple of weeks that people need to know about?
March 10th, I will be at the GLET conference, which is the Georgia Leaders of Educational Technology, I think is what that stands for. Be doing a presentation or a speaking session there with our partner One Accord. After that, I will be going back to Georgia, me and John. 2 weeks later, we're just going to be touring around saying hi to folks. And then following that, sometime in April, me and John, well, potentially me or John, or me and John, we'll be going to Virginia to do a lunch and learn. I don't know what we're talking about just yet, but it will be a lunch and learn to talk about something with cyber. So,
All right, we are coming to your city pretty soon. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We
Y'all
will
are
see.
fun. Thank you.
Hey, thank you,
Thank
Jenny.
you.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
bye.